Hey guys, it's YOU WACK, and welcome back to the Top 5 series for Season 3. Now, before we get deeper into this episode, I want to quickly apologize for last week's episode, because I basically did a repeat of something I've already done before. We looked at the top 5 heroes with the best skins, and I basically did the same episode previously in the beginning of the year. I never like to repeat videos, let alone repeat gameplay in these videos, because I always like to bring fresh new content for your guys' enjoyment, where last week I just completely forgot I already did that video. So my apologies. Sorry for the people that already watched that video earlier on in the year, and for people that just now subscribed, well, you got to see the heroes with the top 5 best skins. But now that I'm done explaining how stupid I am, now let's look at the top 5 hardest ultimates to use in Overwatch. Last week you had the options between the top 5 best workshop game modes versus the top 5 hardest ultimates to use in the game, and even though I doubled up on last week's episode and you still chose for that episode, you're continuing on with this stupid meme trend. Now, what makes an ultimate hard to use? Because in retrospect, you literally just press the Q button, the Y button, or the triangle button, and the ultimate is used. How hard can it be? And you're right, to an extent. There's some ults in the game where you literally just press one button and your job is done, like with Ana's ultimate. But then there's some that require a little bit more for the player to do to get some value out of it. And that's what is really qualified as a hard ultimate to use in Overwatch. But you wanna know what is just as hard as using some of these ultimates in the game? Voting in the top right hand corner for next week's top 5 episode between the top 5 best workshop game modes. I'm not even gonna say the second option. I am going to test how hard it is for you to stop continuing on with this stupid poll meme. It's a poll meme. But gamer boys and e-girls everywhere, the time has come to look at the top 5 hardest ultimates to use in Overwatch. Which again, I really want to look at ultimates that have the hugest human factor when deciding if you're going to get a lot of value or if you're just wasting your time while using that ultimate. And what better way to start off our list at number 5 than choosing the ultimate that requires the most brain power out of all the ultimates in the game. And you'll soon see what I mean. But at number 5, it's going to be Reinhardt and his Earth Shatter ultimate ability. Now, if they don't have a shield or any way to protect themselves from an Earth Shatter, yes, this is not at all a hard ultimate. You press one button and Reinhardt slams the hammer for you, you knock everyone, and you get a lot of value because, well, they're sitting ducks, well, laying ducks. But it's when you get another Reinhardt on the other team, and he's just as good, if not better than you, and then the mind game starts to come into play. You start to ask yourself, when is their Reinhardt gonna bring down their shield? Do they have a Team Zarya bubble available that they can coordinate their Earth Shatter? What if they have something else to protect themselves from my Shatter? And then you start to doubt yourself, maybe I should, hammer down, and then you get nobody. You get absolutely nobody, and that's why it's hard. Only the true and blue Reinhardt mains have put in the hours into not only learning this hero, but also perfecting the art of the Earth Shatter, because another thing that you have to remember is that you can get value not only in the fatty shatties with 5 or 6 people Earth Shattered, but you can also sometimes get value in the solo shatter. Maybe with a nano bladed Genji you need to shatter him, or maybe with a nanoed Reaper. There's some value to be held there, but that is why this ultimate is not at all mechanically hard, but it's brain hard. Brain hard? Brain intense? I don't know what you... It's hard on the brain, alright? It's a lot of pressure for a Reinhardt to change the pace of the game, because this is usually the ultimate that you use to lead in. And if I can't handle the pressure in a relationship, I sure as heck can't handle the pressure with Reinhardt with 4 boys and a girl on my team. So that's why I can't do good with Reinhardt. That's why this ultimate is hard, because again, I can't just pick up Reinhardt and expect to get all these fat shatties, man. I can maybe get one, but then I'll probably die. I just suck at Reinhardt, alright? But for the 4th hardest ultimate to use in Overwatch, we also got another tide-turning potential ultimate, but it's even easier to destroy, which makes it even harder than Reinhardt's. And at the number 4 spot, it's gonna be Junkrat's Riptire. Now, over time, the tire has been buffed to be more user-friendly, like based on how it can climb walls or how it travels, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It might be easier because it can still get destroyed. It has only 100 HP, man. And the thing is so loud, and everybody knows that a tire is coming, and they kind of know where the tire is coming from. But if you're a true Junkrat main, and if you practice the tire of where the best spots are to travel with the tire, where to hop over, where to just wait, who to actually go and kill, you can get a lot of value out of this ult. Players like Jake from the Houston Outlaws have literally made a career based on not only his Junkrat play, but also his Riptire play, because he's perfected on every single map where to travel with the tire and who to actually attack, especially at that high of a rank where everybody has good aim. But here's the sad reality. We can't be as good or be as cute as Jake on the Junkrat, which means that we're gonna still have a difficult time with the Riptire. Yeah, you might think that the Riptire isn't all that hard to use, but you also have to look at it from the perspective of who's on the enemy team. If you're facing against a Grandmasters or Master player, they more than likely have good aim. If you're in Bronze, literally nobody has that good of aim in that ring. So that's why the tire is a little bit easier to use based on the lower ranks. Higher you get, it's more than likely gonna get destroyed because, again, it just takes like 5 minutes to be able to train with Soldier, shoot the tire, and you're done, kid. But there's still hope for you because if you put in the time to practice Junkrat's tire and maybe get a haircut, possibly you could be the next Jake-Rat. But until that happens, he'll be the reigning king and we'll continue to struggle because it keeps getting blocked by the Reinhardt shield or the Zarya bubble or more of Fate. There are so many variables that is ensuring that your tire will not explode on multiple people. You might get the Ana or maybe the Zen if he doesn't have his ultimate, but you might not get those fat tires because, again, it'll get destroyed or people will just protect themselves. But when looking at the third hardest ultimate to use in Overwatch, this hero wishes they could protect themselves. that was a stupid transition. All right, the third hardest ultimate to use in Overwatch is Farah's Rocket Barrage. Now, just for clarification, the part that makes this ultimate hard is not where you get the kills, but where you're left so vulnerable. Every single time Farah uses his ultimate, she's like, Rocket Barrage! She doesn't sound like that. We all know the universal voice line of Farah's Rocket Barrage ultimate usually gets followed up by the death sound because she just dies so easily by everybody. Not just from the hit scans, but sometimes even the Reinhardts, even the Junkrats, people you wouldn't ever imagine would be a counter for Farah. Now in that moment is the easiest counter for Farah. I'm somewhat surprised that there isn't like an ultimate cancellation button with Farah because yes, sometimes you just want to get 2 kills, but you don't want to continue with your Rocket Barrage, so you want to stop. But guess what? You have no control once you press that one button, so you better hope you kill the threatening target for you, whether it is the Soldier or the Junkrat that I mentioned before, rather than these tanks that can protect themselves. That's also another thing. There is so much protection for Farah's Rocket Barrage. If it's not the Diva Defense Matrix, it's Reinhardt's shield or it's Zarya's bubble where you even charge her up even more for her to kill you even easier. So much is stopping you from using this good ultimate, but there are so many roadblocks in the way of Farah. But just like Junkrat's tire, if you can practice the concussion blast or where to place yourself as Farah so that you can give yourself just a little bit of protection but still have the most DPS potential, this can be an extremely valuable ultimate. Until someone comes from spawn and then just shoots you because you're gonna die. You know you're gonna die. You know you're gonna get 2 people, but you're gonna die. You did your job. Bless your heart. We love you, Farah, but move. Just move a little bit. You don't have to stay locked in. But while we've talked about ultimates that have a lot of user interaction, like with Junkrat's tire, heck, even Farah's Rocket Barrage, this next one has a tighter window of human error, and if you have any sort of little error, you're gonna mess it all up. And the second hardest ultimate to use in Overwatch is Tracer's Pulse Bomb. Tracer is a fragile little fella. She's sort of like me. She doesn't have a lot of health. She doesn't have a lot of abilities to protect herself. She's very hard to use, and she's lesbian. The point that I'm trying to make here is that Tracer actively puts herself into dangerous situations because she is a flank hero. She has to go in the enemy back line, and while it's the back line and not the front line, you're still putting yourself in the enemy territory and putting yourself into harm's way. But when you really think about using her ultimate, you're doing the same thing, but now you have to aim this tiny little Cheez-It square of an ultimate onto an enemy hero. You have to have good aim while using her ult? What? In a game where ultimates are supposed to be easier to use, this is a situation where, again, you can get a lot of value, but you also can't get a lot of value if you don't combine it with other ultimates. So more than likely, you're gonna be solo ulting somebody unless they're stupid, which happens a lot, typically with me, and they walk closer to their team in a panic fashion. Now you might be saying, oh, it's so easy to stick someone with Tracer's Pulse Bomb, you're just bad. Okay, consider this. How many things are protecting the team from Tracer's Pulse Bomb? Zarya's bubble is an easy example. Diva's Defense Matrix is one that you might have forgot about, or maybe even Reinhardt's barrier if you maybe just missed by a centimeter. That's not even a form of measurement, but we're making it one. If you miss by a centimeter, that Reinhardt shield can protect everybody, and you just ruined your Pulse Bomb. You see with a lot of these ultimates that human error plays a big part into making these ultimates hard to use, and Tracer is just a classic example where you put yourself in a dangerous dangerous situation, you have to aim good, and you can still F up because of all the protecting factors. And you also might not even get a lot of value. Yeah, you might get 1 kill, but why not just shoot the Zenyatta instead of sticking them, or shooting the Ana? But while you might not get a lot of value out of Tracer's ultimate, even with all the time and practice spent putting into her, this next and final ultimate for the #1 hardest ultimate to use in Overwatch is someone that you need to practice, that you need to continuously get better at, and that you still need to sharpen your skills with, especially with this ever-changing meta. And for the #1 spot for the hardest ultimate to use in the game, it's gonna be Genji and his Dragon Blade. God, this thing is hard. Genji's Dragon Blade is one of those ultimates that you see montages on YouTube and you think, yeah, I could do that. I could so do that. You go try to do that in game and you F around and you break a wrist in real life. Like, that's how hard it can be. And if you don't break a wrist, you break your heart because Brigitte or the stun meta is just gonna kill you over and over and over again. This is an ultimate that is not only mechanically intensive, probably the most mechanically intensive, but is also one that takes a lot of brain power. As terms of the brain power, you have to be able to identify what abilities are used, what ultimates have been being tracked, or what heroes are on the field, because there is so much getting in the way of you being able to get that 6-man team wipe, because a stun from McCree, or an ultimate from Zenyatta, or Winston just focusing you and you not being able to get anybody because he's blocking the way. Or maybe it's not the brain power. Maybe you got above a 69 IQ point average and it's the mechanical intensiveness that this ultimate requires for you that gets you every single time, because that is what gets me every single time. It's combining the dashes. It's being able to swipe and ghost dash. It's being able just to still not get stunned. There's so many stuns in the game, man. When do I dash up? Is my Ana ready to nano me? Does the Zenyatta have his ultimate? Do I have to climb up the wall? Where do I deflect? Do I deflect and dash? There is so much that goes on in this ultimate that if you do not practice at least 10,000 Dragon Blades, you're probably gonna suck. There's gonna be a bunch of 9-year-olds in my comments saying, well, you just suck at Genji. I'm the best Genji. Meanwhile, they're in bronze and they're not having to deal with the stun matter or deal with Sigma and Symmetra and the turrets. Genji's ultimate is hard to use, Farah's ultimate is hard to use, Ana's ultimate is hard to use, every single ultimate's hard to use because life is the hardest thing to live when you do not want to live. That sounds so bad, but that is my list of the top 5 hardest ultimates to use in Overwatch. But like I do for every one of these videos, please let me know what you think is the hardest ultimate or the top 5 hardest ults in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next week. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.